Everybody, but na 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 na.
You know that doesn't work.
My wife left me.
This is the
Shut up.
internet. It does not work like this.
I know it doesn't. Shut up. Okay, everyone. Tequila.
Life is terrible.
Come on, guys.
Wait.
That was supposed to be better than that.
I'm letting you stew in this.
Okay, whatever. Cue intro
wife
thing here. Podcast. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's about that time to start again. It's been a little while since we've been here, but we are super glad to be back here with our next OmniCast. I am joined remotely by a few friends of mine. Way over on the other side of town is my friend Ruben. Ruben, how are you doing, sir? How are you? I am genuinely interested in knowing how you're doing.
I finally figured out how universal remotes work.
That's awesome. How do
Wonderful.
universal remotes work?
Universally.
Great. That is wonderful to hear.
Then they fulfill their
Joined
purpose,
on the other side of the state, I have two of my great friends, Darren and Stuart. How are you two doing today? I am also genuinely interested in hearing how you all are doing.
We're doing wonderfully.
Salty.
Okay.
Very salty.
Salty?
Yeah, because I was
Yeah.
accusing him of being a bad pilot.
I'm not a bad pilot. I just can't. Whatever. Buildings are hard to fly through.
Don't tell that to Al Qaeda.
Not into, through.
Just through.
I
so
mean,
you can't
what do
really
you think
go.
they tried.
Honestly, I was trying to move around. It's Guns of Icarus, and there's a map that you take that takes place in a bombed-out city.
So you couldn't,
And-
in a blimp, you could not avoid buildings.
you don't.
Don't these
You don't
things go like-
strafe. You can't strafe, so you have to use
not
tank
actually a
controls.
blimp. It's a dirigible.
So you, well,
There is
either
a
way,
difference.
don't you have about 5 minutes to go? Hold on, I might be crashing into that
No.
building. I'm
No,
feel
they're
like-
Not when
really
there's
they're
3
very very
feet.
large.
okay. Well, for the sake of comedy, let's call it a blimp.
No.
No.
You're a blimp.
All right, let's just go on. We're spending too much
Whatever.
time.
Okay, so we've got some cool things that are happening. It is the week of, well, today is the 19th of May. You know, it's been about a month since we recorded our last podcast. How crazy.
Yeah, we
Has
should
it
probably
been?
get back onto it.
We totally will. Now that we're not on
trying.
vacation,
We are working very hard to get back.
and
It just hasn't worked out yet.
It will. It will. I'm not worried about it. I'm glad to have you guys back. I'm glad to talk about stuff today. But either way, this week, it's the week of the May 17th, and there's some stuff coming out this week. I just picked up my copy of The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, which is going to be really fun. It's installing on my Xbox right now, and I'm going to have a lot of fun playing it later, and you guys aren't, so screw you. Also,
That's all right.
yeah. Also this week, NASCAR 15
Woo!
Oh my god.
Hell yeah.
for everyone who likes
Yeehaw.
cannot-
driving around to the left several times.
Left is my
Dude, my
favorite direction.
penis is so hard.
We are making a left turn.
And what are
It's
you
so
doing
hard
next?
that
1,000
it's
feet. We are
curved to the
making
left.
another left turn.
That's
You know, Euro Truck Simulator,
yeah.
pretty good. It had some left and right, but I was really hoping there would be some more focus on the left turns, and NASCAR just delivered on it.
yeah.
It was everything I ever wanted in a left turning game.
That's wonderful. I don't know. I'm more about driving straight, which is why Euro Truck Simulator is for me. That's my gameplay style, driving straight forward. But yeah. Also out this week, Destiny House of Wolves downloadable content. It's their second
And it's
expansion.
fantastic.
It is fantastic, according to Darren. I'm going to have it at some point, I promise. But I've got a giant RPG to work through before I can even bite into it. So give me a little bit, and yeah, we'll talk about it here in a little bit because that's one of the things we need to cover. On the subject of simulators, Farming Simulator 15 is out this week, guys.
No.
I don't care what you
Can
guys
we
say.
be done
That's
with
awesome.
those?
No, never.
No.
That is like the
Please.
greatest. Okay, who fucking produces all those simulator games? Is it
don't-
like different companies or is it just one?
No, it's the thing.
Yeah, I thought
Same
so.
company.
They're
Yeah,
doing
I
God's
think it
work.
is.
No. Shut up.
Well, those
I
producers.
actually really do like Euro Truck Simulator.
Is it really fun? Do you
No,
do you
it's
sit
not.
around? Do you sit around and going, man, I wish I knew what it was like to be a truck driver in Europe.
It is absolutely as mundane as it sounds.
But
I
I
think
love
you
it
guys
all
are
the
missing
same.
the hilarity of it.
It's
Maybe.
not. It's not funny. It's just sad.
It's not funny. I enjoy it because I usually play
and
like a
people still
playlist
buy
of
it because they're dumb.
podcasts. Whatever. It's relaxing. It's sobering.
That's good, I suppose. And wrapping up our big releases this week, the biggest release of ever, the thing everyone has been waiting for, Nancy Drew, Sea of Darkness for the PC.
Dude, I've literally been waiting 22 years for that game.
Yeah, where the hell has Nancy Drew been all this time? Like,
Investigating her own death.
I guess so.
Yeah, right.
Investigating her own death, and then the Hardy
Investigating
I
the
Boys.
death
have
of the-
never read an answer.
It was the Hardy Boys. The Hardy Boys killed Nancy Drew.
They were investigating
No,
the
I
death
thought it
of the
was-
gaming industry since their
Wait.
last release.
I thought it was the what? Who are they? The Boxcar Kids or whatever?
Yeah, dude.
That
Have
was
you
a
never
novel.
read the Boxcar
Well,
Kids?
That was
Well,
a novel series, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
So
it was
sorry,
like my
what?
favorite when I was growing up.
Yeah,
I have
the
never read
Boxcar Children murdered them. Junie B.
That's what it
Jones covered it up, and then Shel Silverstein
God.
wrote a poem about it.
Probably.
Done deal. Okay, so in news this week, what's going on this week? Well, let me tell you, and other people
Absolutely
tell us
nothing.
as well. Okay, so Bethesda has been working on some stuff. Some of them we don't know exactly what we're working on, but we do know that there will be a gameplay reveal on June 4th for their next title in the series of Doom. So
You got me excited.
so
Fallout
yeah,
with the news
June
Doom.
4th they're gonna have a trailer letting us know what the gameplay is gonna look like. It's gonna be kind of neat to see. Like, the only experience I have with Doom is old school Doom, and to see that done like next gen is gonna be real cool to look at, in my totally
Well, I'm
factual
interested to see
opinion.
how Bethesda handles it, because I mean they've handled shooters well with Fallout 3, but I've never seen them do something as high octane as Doom.
I don't know. Were they the ones who originally worked on it? I really have no idea.
Fallout 3. Yeah.
Well, Fallout. I mean,
The
Doom. Like,
no, it wasn't Bethesda. I don't think.
no, it was I don't know.
I don't know. Somebody look
somebody.
that up whenever we have some time and let me know how wrong I am.
The wrongest. Wasn't there a Doom 3 for the 360? Like,
Yeah.
I think so.
I remember playing that one, and I remember that being Halo-esque or something like that. Not a fan. I wasn't a fan of that one.
I don't know. Maybe this new Doom will trump everything. Maybe Doom is going to be the next AAA release that everyone is playing, talking about, and out trumps
Or
everything.
it can be
I'm sure that's what they're hoping.
forever.
Or it'll be doomed. Okay, so yeah. Anyway, so that's on June 4th. Darren, will you? Who dropped shit? Who dropped shit? It wasn't me.
You'll see when the audio waves are.
Okay, cool. Darren, can you please go into some news concerning Destiny, since you are a little bit more apt to do so? Can you do
I
that?
would be happy to.
Wonderful.
It is May 19th, the release date of House of Wolves DLC for Destiny, and it is everything that people wanted. Even though
What did
there is no
people
raid, people really are really attaching to. There's a lot more effort in as part of the story for the House of Wolves DLC, and people are really latching onto it because they've taken to heart our
Feedback, right?
yeah the feedback in terms of how weak the story for the main game is.
Okay, so they're really buffing up on story, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's-
and it really shines through.
That right there, the story, or the main story, was actually what turned my roommate off to the game. Like, he got the game and he played it with me for a little bit, and he just like meh. And I was like, dude, you don't even understand. This game's excellent.
Yeah, it really is.
He never dove into like the strikes or raids or anything like that. So
And that's the reason I kept it around. Like, I have
Yeah,
to find
that-
friends so I
that
can
hooked
do the
me
raid.
again.
Yeah, I've never actually done a legitimate run of Crota's Raid yet, and I really want to, because anyone I've ever gone through it with is like, okay, well, let's not play it, let's cheat our way through it just so we can get the stuff. And I actually wanted to experience the thrill of shooting everyone who's
I saw
coming
that.
at
I've done
me.
both.
I haven't done
Yeah,
Crota's.
screw you.
I did Vault of Glass, but I haven't done Crota yet.
Yeah, I did Vault of Glass. I haven't. I mean, I've played through the Crota one, but yeah, like I said, just nobody was taking it seriously. They're just like, yeah, I need.
You know what?
things.
I think being able to solo Crota, I mean, for me at least on normal, is an accomplishment in itself. And
you were
I'm
able
proud
to
of
do that.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Shit, that's very cool.
It's very hard to beat Crota. The rest of it's not.
I mean,
rest of it's
I would
pretty easy.
imagine.
Did you have to do that level 32? I assume.
Yeah,
I would
you
also
definitely
imagine.
need to be 32.
Yeah, I'm not there yet. I mean,
So-
I've been kind of off and on for Destiny, and I'm only at level 30. But
There's a new level cap though now, right? With House of Wolves.
Yes, new level cap is 34.
34.
And they've actually done a really, really good job of expanding the armor capacity. Because
nice.
now there's new weapons and armor. With some of the new weapons, you can actually respec them. They have an option for it. It's called
Reforge, is it?
yeah,
or-
Reforge Ready.
Yeah.
And you have the ability to get all new upgrade attributes for it,
What does that
which will give
cost
you. I don't know. I haven't looked at it yet. I have 2 weapons that I have available for it, and I'll take a look at that.
Now,
later.
is that only for the new weapons, or because
It is.
Okay, I saw because I remember seeing it was a stream that the Bungie developers were doing, just talking about all their new stuff that they're going into. I thought they were going to do that with all the weapons, and which had me really
No.
excited because I wanted my Vision of Confluence back, just with different specs, because I love the weapon, but
Well, none of the raid weapons will ever change. But like what they have done is all of your 300 weapons and your 300 or 331.
are they getting
Those
buffed?
those you can all change into 365, the new damage cap.
That's
Nice.
good.
And you can also do that for all of the armor. So every legendary and exotic you can have it at the level cap, and it will be just as good as the raid armor
That's awesome. I'm
and
actually
weapons.
I'm actually kind of curious. Did you end up getting Stuart into Destiny? I know we were talking about that last time.
We haven't played yet. I keep dogging him too.
Stuart, come on, dude.
I
Come
thought
on.
that's what you guys were gonna
I've
do
got so
after
many
the
games I need
last
to
like
play.
you said.
you said, man.
Promises.
Verbal contract is binding in the state of Texas.
It is.
Whatever, dude.
Okay.
I'll give
That's
it a
how I
try.
got married
I've
to the
got so
money.
many games right now.
I said it
Oh.
3 times.
Nice. Okay, well, so yeah, that's coming up. That's going to be real cool. Destiny House of Wolves DLC. Check it out if you can.
It's worth it.
It's total. I'm sure it's worth it. I'm going to get it. I promise. I'll let you know all about it once I do. So also, there is going to be a remaster of the original Gears of War title. So
No.
I was not.
Meh.
I was not necessarily impressed. I mean, Gears of War was cool in its time. I didn't really super get into it or whatever, but I don't know. Like we were
It
talking
hasn't
about,
reached the decade prerequisite.
it
Yeah,
hasn't even been
yeah.
out. Well, okay then.
No, it was 2007, I believe.
Oh,
Was
it hasn't.
Really?
Then
Wow.
it's almost there.
Hey.
No, it's almost there, but it's not.
Well, shit.
Th- There shall be no exceptions.
Yeah, there are games from around that time where I wouldn't really be expecting a remaster for either. So either way, that's happening. So good if you like it, boo if you don't. Whatever.
Was Gears of War wasn't a release?
It was release window.
Okay. Well, then I mean I feel we're a generation ahead now. I think that's somewhat acceptable.
No, that's not good enough. It's really not.
Well, we are a generation ahead.
A generation
but that
and a
generation
year.
is that generation is only like 8 years, and
Yeah, no, that's what I mean. It's not long enough. We're not far enough removed because the 360 is still a viable console,
Yeah.
and it still has major releases.
Yeah. I feel like
Yeah.
you're going to be very disappointed a lot in the coming future then with things like that because
I know, I hate it.
Yeah, as far as companies are concerned with money, they're going to want to do that.
Like it doesn't it makes sense for like the developers, but it doesn't make sense for the publishers like Microsoft and Sony, because they stand to make more money in the beginning with keeping backwards compatibility.
Yeah.
And they totally did away with that with next gen. So boo.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
Idiots.
Okay, well, anyway, so that's a little bit of news. I have something I want to try in the podcast. Maybe we'll do this in the future, maybe not. I don't know. We'll see. But I want to try an idea that I'm going to call Throwback of the Week, which is really just to pique our interest about a game that we've all sort of played and remember fondly, and we can talk about a few short memories. And the game that I want to do that with this week is Star Wars Battlefront 2. Which was a real neat release. I remember playing it first. I think it was for the PS2, because I played it.
You didn't play for Xbox?
I don't think so. I think I had a PS2 before. You know, I don't really know. Like it was kind of confusing for me. Like my whole thing, it was like I went from the PS1 to the N64 to the GameCube to the PS2. And then I think Xbox, and then PS2 again, and it was my console tree is it goes in a circle. I swear to God.
Console wars, more like
I played it on the
wars.
original.
Yeah. Well, what did you guys play Battlefront 2 on, and how do you remember it?
I played it
on the original Xbox.
Yeah, me too. I played it at my my buddy's house at his on his Xbox, like fucking 12 hours straight. For like probably a good month.
I feel like that was a really good title to really binge with too. Like you could do, well, as opposed to Battlefront 1, like it had a solid campaign. I mean, it was just battle after battle after battle, sort of like.
That's all it really needed to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, it worked for what it was, and that's why I remember it so fondly. That's why I chose.
I really liked Galactic Conquest, especially with another person.
Yeah, with where you like conquer planets and shit with whatever team.
Yeah.
I never did that. Oh wait, maybe.
What?
Yeah. Never mind. Yeah, I did.
Oh,
it was like
lose my
fucking
shit.
15 years ago. No,
I played it about a week ago, if that.
So that's barely even
on Steam now.
that's barely a throwback.
God, I've got to.
Well, it's re-released on Steam, I should say.
Oh, okay.
Because, but unfortunately, the servers are abandoned.
Lame.
You have to use something like not Games Radar, but like Game Ranger or something.
Okay.
To find servers.
Did you guys like the space battles?
Absolutely.
I did. A lot of people didn't, but I thought it was an interesting mechanic. Like,
I can't remember.
How
them.
did you not like the space battles?
No, I did.
I know, but how could you not like the space battles?
I don't know.
Those were integral.
I don't know.
It's like the best part of Star Wars.
I didn't
Fascism.
listen to everyone who didn't like it, because
Why did you not slap them in the face?
Well, yeah, selective hearing. I didn't want to waste my time with those guys. I was too busy playing space battles. Darren, what did you think of Battlefront 2?
I actually did not play it, and it's released.
What?
Dude, you got to
Actually, I still have not played it. Like
I have
growing
to
up, we had a
remember-
pretty strict no human or humanoid violence,
Really?
and so the game purchasing was always a very family decision.
Oh, okay. You know what? I probably would have had something like that if I talked to my parents about what I was buying. So, but bypassed it. So, well,
I think I might have actually had the same thing, because I remember my mother not being too fond of me playing that. Of any game that I shot humans.
yeah.
Robots were fine. Kingdom Hearts was fine, but nothing with humans.
My mother got me into video gaming by letting me play Mortal Kombat for Sega when I was like 8.
Oh yeah, see that would not have happened in my household.
Yeah.
I definitely had to go to a friend's house to play Mortal Kombat.
If my parents had known what Mortal Kombat was, I probably would not be a gamer, because it would not.
Although I
Yeah.
do believe we had Street Fighter 2. Yeah, no, we definitely had Street Fighter 2.
Bit less gory, that one.
Yeah,
Just a
definitely.
little bit. Yeah, side scroller beat 'em up, or side scroller arcade fighter. Yeah, it seems a little bit more than like ripping somebody's head off, shoving it into their stomach, pulling it out again, throwing it through their body, ripping their arms off, hitting off
Yeah,
their
and
legs
people
with
never
said
died.
limbs. Yeah.
They just got beaten
I
up.
love the Mortal Kombat X fatalities, but I hate that they made them easy with the stupid coins.
Oh, no. I got Mortal Kombat X after I was talking about it. They are not that hard. If you have ever played a fighting game before and you understand that what a directional input is or how to do moves at all in fighting games, it is not that
Which
hard.
makes it even worse that
I
they have those
know.
fucking coins for them.
They're trying
Yeah, it
to
really does.
Yeah,
I'll
just-
go ahead and reverse stance.
reverse stance.
Yeah, because I was okay with the coins, and
Well,
It's just
No, I'm not.
worthless.
I mean, it wasn't like dependent on the whole microtransaction thing like I thought it was going to be. Like you can get easy
No.
fatality tokens as rewards, as like unlockables and stuff, and really, I don't know. I've used one, and I have like 8, and I used that one by accident. So So it really isn't as big of a hindrance as I thought it was going to be. So good job, Mortal Kombat X and NetherRealm Studios. Okay, well, taking a little gander off of what we were talking about. Oh God, the throwback of the week kind of got buried. So Battlefront 2 was cool. I'm sorry you did not get to play it, Darren. Maybe you will at some point, and you'll see how cool it was.
I've been planning to share my Steam library with him, so I should give him a chance to play it.
Cool.
yeah, I'll definitely go ahead and try it.
Yeah, try it out. Let me know what you think. Okay, so let's move on to what we really wanted to talk about today. So we've had this planned for a little while, and a type of game that is near and dear to all of our hearts is the ever-so-loved role-playing game, RPG. And we wanted to discuss it a little bit and share fond memories and all that bullshit. So, well, I wanted to start out with a little bit of history. The most original documented role-playing game actually started out as what was basically improvisational theater back in what was like Victorian times, 16th century Europe, and basically like what we see, like improv stuff. Like,
I don't know if that counts.
well, think of the way.
Because that's not specifically a game, that's a play, and plays are very different from games.
Well, the way that improv theater would work is like that would be played out as a game. Like, have you ever seen Whose Line Is It Anyway?
No, because the purpose of a game is that those watching the game are actually participating in the game.
Well, sometimes they do.
Unless
Well,
special
it would be.
scenarios.
Well, in this case,
Modernistically.
there wouldn't be like an audience per se. Like if it's just strictly a game for those people, yeah, I mean, you could have people watching it. They're not playing an RPG, but they're watching one. Like the people who are doing this improv theater, they're playing roles. Like they'll say, okay, this is your role, and you act it out. Like the way they do in Whose Line Is It Anyway? Like they have.
I think it's just straight role playing.
But is that
or
a game?
LARPing.
Is it a game?
Yeah.
It could be considered one.
I think we're
I
arguing
doubt
that
it.
it is not.
Maybe. Well,
No,
either
no.
way, that's.
What was the first
I
RPG
definitely
game?
agree with Rick here. There's improv theater. You make games out of these different.
I was
situation
in improv,
stuff.
and I don't think it's a game.
I mean, I played games.
I don't know.
It
I think you're wrong. I think you're
it could be
wrong.
argued. It just depends on how you look at it, I
All
guess.
right, well, but let's move forward a few centuries.
Well, definitely.
Yeah,
Definitely. Well, once we got to the 19th and 20th century, like you started to have board games where you would play a role as role-playing game, and the most notable that was brought out of that was 1974's Dungeons and Dragons. Stuart, would you argue that that is a role-playing game?
Yes.
Okay.
Because there are game elements.
Exactly.
And-
So
yeah.
there you are playing the role. You are being very imaginative with your character and with the role you are playing, I guess. So that was the most I guess that was the most basic that was brought up and one of the earliest. I mean, there were others and there were knockoffs, but the most original title was Dungeons and Dragons, which sort of brought in the elements of RPGs that we recognize today, which are like you're gonna have your character, you're gonna have the story for your character, you're gonna have progression for your character, whether that be just as, I guess, like as a person, or maybe something more statistical, like you have upgrades, your health goes up, your stamina goes up, your mana goes up, your whatever the hell it is, your stats increase as just a general character progression. And that was something that Dungeons & Dragons played on, and that just kind of molded into what we now know as role-playing games. And it's all sort of been like that, but now we have a ton of them.
Kind of set the standard for what a role-playing game really is, and like how it goes about, you know?
Pretty
With
much,
exactly all of that.
There was
Definitely.
there was the theory of role-playing, which I guess was brought out by improv theater, and I guess they took it and made that very much a basic game.
Yeah.
And gave it game elements, like you were saying, Stuart, for sure. And now we have that. Now that's just kind of, it's a genre for us. Like, we place these along other types of games that we play, and now it's a very loved one of them. And there have been some real serious ones. I kind of wanted to ask you guys what your most reputable role-playing game was. Ruben, what about you?
So for the longest time, my favorite series has always been a Japanese RPG by the name of Suikoden. It's a pretty long-running series. The first one was released in the U.S. in 1996. Best stories and character progression I've ever experienced in my life.
How do they progress in that?
Okay, well, it follows your basic sort of standard RPG elements. You know, you have your leveling and your different stats and the such. But it focuses mostly on the story side of it. Like, obviously the RPG elements are for character or player interaction and the such, but the story was really kind of what drove that game and that entire series, and made it amazing to me. It was the series is based off these Japanese books. I don't think by the same name, but something similar. I forget, but it was these stories of the 108 stars of destiny, and every so often, when there's turmoil in the lands, these 108 stars would be gathered together, which were the characters you would collect. You would recruit into your ranks. All 108 of them, well, no, a majority of the 108 of them were playable characters that you could put in your party. And they all had unique stories and development throughout the game, which created massive amounts of replayability and longevity in the game.
108 characters?
108 characters to recruit into your army.
And they've all got their little specs and differences about them to where...
Yeah, absolutely. They all have their own uniqueness. Some of oftentimes like certain sets of characters like would interact because they had some sort of relation to one another. They would interact with one another in special ways. They'd have like special unite attacks and the such. Really, really, really amazing series in general. Not all 108 of them, of course, were required to beat the game. There's going to be like, I think it was.
But they were all there.
But they were all available. Like you obviously, if you took the time, it was a completionist fucking dream. That series, if you took the time to get all 108
Sounds like it.
stars of destiny into your army. Really amazing game. Beautiful, amazing stories that are just depicted wonderfully. I mean, it's the first one is 19 years old now. It's a 19-year-old game, and I still usually about once a year boot it up and give it a playthrough. It's that.
How long would you put into a playthrough for it?
Well, having played them about 10 or 12 times now, the first two mostly. I've dabbled in several of the other titles in the series, but the first two I think like the first couple times I played through it, I put in well over 200 hours. Now I can usually get all 108 stars in about 60 hours of gameplay. But there's a lot more than just those 108 that you can go through. I don't know. There's so much side
That's
stuff.
a hell of a lot to do. Yeah.
Yeah, it really is. But it's fantastic. It's amazing. I love it. I love that game so much.
What kind of play style is it? Like real time?
It's a turn-based Japanese RPG. You've got a party of 6, and your enemies can have parties up to 6. Very turn-based, very standard turn-based RPG. It's like just like your basic Final Fantasy stuff, especially like the earlier Final Fantasies, like 5 and 6, just with more playable characters on screen.
That sounds really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you more a fan of the JRPGs or?
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, like I've been a bit despondent about video games lately, mostly because like I really want a good JRPG along those lines to play, and I can't find one. You know.
There's a
So
new
if you have
Final
any
Fantasy Type
suggestions-
0.
Yeah, I heard about
You
that.
should try Valkyria Chronicle.
I think I
heard
did.
good
I
things.
think I played
Let me
that
check it out.
one.
It's really fun. I'm enjoying it. It's like one of the first JRPGs that I like in a long time.
Yeah.
Well, on that note,
Yeah, 'cause I
yeah.
don't-
What is what would your favorite choice be, Stuart? Is it that or?
I really do like Valkyria Chronicle. Fallout New Vegas and Fallout series in general has always been my favorite.
Your favorite was New Vegas?
Yeah. The more I play it, the lesser of an opinion I have of Fallout 3. But it's by no means a bad game. I just think New Vegas is a lot better.
You know, they certainly are. Like, would you acknowledge that they are in the same series, but there are some differences to them?
Yes, absolutely, because the second one, New Vegas, wasn't made by Bethesda.
That's right. It was Obsidian, I think, or
Obsidian Software were members
Yeah, it
of
was.
the original. Hold on 1 second. I'm so sorry. Okay. Obsidian was created. The company itself was formed by former members of Black Isle Studio, who worked under Interplay, and that group created the original Fallout 1 and 2. Black Isle Studio.
okay, so they were coming.
So they came back to finish what they were starting.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah, I mean, I liked both of them. A lot of people gave New Vegas shit just because it was different, which I really don't care. I enjoyed them both.
I was in the boat against New Vegas because it didn't feel like a new. Everyone thought it would be Fallout 4, and it wasn't. It was harder. It was less forgiving, and it was a really buggy release, so everyone was just bashing it, and I kind of hopped on it. But after a couple of years passed, I went onto the game again, and I'm like, this isn't bad. This is really good. This is awesome. This is great. I want it in every orifice of my body all at once, please.
Yeah, I remember going out to get it. I think it was day one. I'm not totally sure. I don't know. I remember having a really good experience with it. I didn't really pick out differences because I played Fallout 3 and New Vegas, and I don't know. Yeah, just the same. I like them differently. I don't necessarily like one more than the other, but I don't know. I'm really glad you're not just griping at New Vegas like so many other people that I've heard.
No, I mean, if anybody had... A lot of people have kind of dismissed the game because it didn't change the formula or it wasn't Fallout for some reason. I've heard that argument before and whatever. But it is a bit linear than Fallout 3, and there is a much heavier emphasis on the story rather than player control a bit. But that was the original Fallout, and I love the original Fallout. So.
A little bit more like clear cut of a path where you want to be going if you want to progress through the game, I guess.
Yeah, the problem is that Bethesda is really good at fantasy games. So you have the main character is obviously going to be the hero of the land, of course.
Yeah.
That's Morrowind, Oblivion, Skyrim. You are the only person who's going to get stuff done. And that's actually the same thing that happens in both New Vegas and Fallout 3, but in New Vegas, it's made very clear that things are going on whether or not you're participating in them.
Exactly.
Like, things have happened before you got there. The NCR and Legion have been at each other's throats. You know, New Vegas has gone through so many different changes in power.
Yeah, Mr. House
the
has
tribes
always been
to
there.
Mr.
pretty
House.
much. Yeah, I remember doing that.
But it felt more lived in. Like, it felt like a world that was active, rather than Fallout 3 being desolate.
Yeah, like everyone walking through the strip of New Vegas, like, hey, yeah, everything's real bad, but we still want to gamble, so let's do it.
And I like the fact that as you progress through the story, like if you killed certain key members of either group, or if you were just progressing the story at all, people in the streets would be talking with others and being like, hey, did you hear about that one thing that happened? And for some reason, that just makes me giddy.
Yeah, like some people from those opposing factions would come up to me, be like, hey, we know what you did, and you have 3 days to, like, rectify the situation or something. I'm like, well, goddamn, I didn't mean to do that.
New Vegas bent me over a table, and I loved it.
Spanked you with a ping pong battle.
It was so harsh, and I love it, because that was how I played. See, all of this is because I played the original Fallouts, and I remember the game being very mean
So
to me.
you probably,
and I love
yeah,
that.
you probably have a much better basis of that than I would.
Because it's very obvious that no matter how good your gun is or how good your armor is, this is real life, dumbass. And if you run into a firefight, you're not gonna go away unscathed. If you just run into the middle of a bunch of drugged up raiders, you're probably gonna lose an arm or two.
If you run straight at Deathclaws who are running straight at you, you're probably going to be lunch.
Delicious.
I remember doing that, and it scared the hell out of me. I was like,
Deathclaws are so prominent. Deathclaws are so prominent in this game that they actually block off one of the main passages into New Vegas, the long 15.
Yeah, the one that you would think to go, but everyone else tells you, no, you've got to go around, because otherwise you'll be dead.
I remember the first time, I'm like, whatever.
I guarantee everybody.
And then I'm
the
like,
first
I
time
came
was like,
crawling back
okay.
with...
See,
I came crawling back to the town with all of my limbs broken, and I'm like,
Yeah.
hey, can I borrow some
Guys are
supplies?
I didn't even do that. Like, I kind of just took their word for it. Like, no, you want to go around here. And I'm like, well, maybe, I guess I'm supposed to do that. I mean, I went back later just to see what the whole fuss was about, and then I got stung about 7 million times. And I'm like, you know what? I better go the long
you're
way.
talking about the Cazadors. Those are right north of Good Springs.
Yeah, that's the way I tried to go. I'm like, well, New Vegas is right there.
Well, not only that, but you also run into a Viper-infested town. Viper gang members, and they are nasty.
You know, I might have done that by accident as well. There's so many ways you can go.
But that's the thing about New Vegas, is that there's things going on outside of where you are. Like, it feels like every location you visit is in the middle of something important, and you're just there to help them off.
Very convenient for quests and shit.
Yeah, of course you're going to be the only person who progresses the plot because, well, you're the player character.
Uh-huh.
But it felt more substantial.
Yep.
Like, I actually felt like the story and the gameplay complemented each other.
I definitely believe they did. I'm
is-
glad you like it, too.
Instead of Skyrim,
is-
because Skyrim is the almost exact opposite. It's like, well, I guess I'll go ahead and do the story missions.
Yeah,
much.
that's absolutely crucial to me for a good RPG that stands out in my mind. It's got to be like, I don't know. I really enjoy RPGs where the story, like, you can tell they spent the majority of their time on how they want to tell this story. And like open world games like Skyrim and the such, I do enjoy them, but not to the degree that I enjoy something like, from what I'm hearing, I would enjoy New Vegas.
Man, I gave you that game.
Yeah, but what's great is that every action you take for the different factions will have a consequence at the end of the game.
And with, like, 7 different people, too.
You will never be the best person in the world. You will always make one group worse off for what you do.
Yeah, please,
and I
everyone.
love that. Yeah, because New Vegas really hammered that home. Even if you tried to help people, like, there's a group of people inside the Mormon fort. It's called the Followers of the Apocalypse.
I remember them.
And they're just good doers. They heal people who are sick, try to get people off of drug addictions. You know, they're just nice people. and you can help them by making Freeside independent, I think. I haven't really messed with them too much because I skip by them a lot. Whoops. But you can decide to help them out, but in helping them out, you actually cause more people to start going to the hospital because it's more popular now. And then they get overwhelmed, and then everything is terrible because they don't have enough supplies for everybody.
Real life experience, what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, even siding with Caesar's Legion, the obvious bad guys of the story, actually has benefits because they can guard the caravans a lot better than the NCR can.
Man, I never played a playthrough where I joined the Legion, and I really wanted to because it looked...
It's difficult, but it's interesting to see how it plays out.
I bet.
Because it's very obviously the bad guy path, but it's interesting to see how bad guys are treated in New Vegas. Because, I mean, almost everybody in that world's a bad guy for different reasons.
Yeah. Damn, I'm going to have to pick that up again. Now you have me interested. Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, Darren?
I'm doing a review of it.
Are you doing a review of it?
Yeah, I should start doing my audio tonight. I'm ready for it.
Oh, sweet. So look for
It'll
content.
hopefully go up soon.
Yeah.
Dude, definitely. Yeah, I'll be
It's
watching
an
that.
experience I think every gamer should have because it really nails the post-apocalyptic setting down. Every building you go to, every location you visit has a story to tell, not just through audio logs or computer terminal logs, but through set pieces. Like you might see a body next to an ant, or something even more subtle, like maybe a strange pile of dishes stacked up next to a door, and other, like, just random pieces scattered around that you can kind of piece together to figure out what's going on. And you feel like you've been somewhere that hundreds of thousands of other people have been.
I remember
like
thinking
in Vegas.
exactly that. Like, why is this like this? Somebody had to put thought into why these things are arranged the way they are. Why is this on the ground? Like, why is this door open? Or why is it locked? And shit like that. I thought it was cool.
Like, just finding a random skeleton in one of the, this was in Fallout 3, but in one of the small personal Fallout shelters that were in the streets, was like, oh shit, I wonder what this person had.
Sucks to be them.
What his story was.
It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Well, anyways,
Fallout 3 was
Fallout.
a good job of it, but New Vegas was better.
You think so? You think it was better?
Yeah, I would definitely say New Vegas is my favorite of the Fallout games. Fallout 2 was my favorite for a long time, even after Fallout 3 was out. But New Vegas is like everything I ever wanted from Fallout, plus things I didn't even know I wanted.
I gotta pick it up again. Shit.
Like Old World Blues, which I'm just gonna... You're gonna have to research it yourself, because that DLC is fucking awesome.
I don't know if I have that or not. I got one of them, but...
They have, okay, I'm actually gonna say more. Just, this is all I'll say about it. They have the voice of Stewie,
Seth
the
MacFarlane?
doctor, or the
Seth MacFarlane.
the guy from Futurama, Fry's great-great-grandson, but old guy.
Hubert J. Farnsworth.
Yeah, they have Dr. Venture's voice actor and a whole bunch of other people.
Holy crap.
It's like an all-star cast. Yeah, all-star cast of crazy mad scientist actors.
I am all about the voice acting community. Man, I gotta find my copy of New Vegas. Damn it, Stuart.
Just don't play Lonesome Road, because that one was bullshit.
I can't remember which one I played.
It's like a gauntlet, but the story is painful.
Like,
But anyways,
impactful.
Darren, I guess we'll move on. What's your favorite
Yes.
franchise for RPGs?
My favorite, it's definitely less intensive as far as the RPG aspect, but I would have to say my favorite is Kingdom Hearts 2.
I knew it.
Oh, no, it is the best. It is the total package. It has the art direction of Square Enix, as well as the gameplay, but it has the story development expertise of Disney.
And the
A surprisingly
infinite
solid
money
story.
of Disney.
Yeah, it's like Disney plus Square Enix, but a story that's actually competent and somewhat makes sense if you sit down to consider it all.
And still, like, incredibly Japanese, too. Like, a company that's working with Disney and is pretty... I mean, it's not waving its arms and yelling, hey, look how cultural I am, but you can just see, like, so many Japanese elements into it, I remember seeing. Or am I wrong?
No,
there's
I mean,
actually
it's very Japanese.
I really wouldn't say that.
Yeah, it's very Japanese. It's so Japanese that I noticed the Kingdom Hearts 2 animations go on a bit longer because they have to account for the Japanese voices.
I mean, but in its mannerisms, it's not.
What?
Voice acting
Oh.
is not. I wouldn't necessarily. That means it's very Japanese. It just means
Well,
that
no,
it
I didn't.
takes longer for them to say certain things.
Yeah. Like, I didn't mean for the voice work. I meant just, like, how they tell a story, how it progresses, like, character development, and I don't know. Like, if you watch enough anime and play enough Japanese games, you kind of understand the differences.
In that way, it's definitely not. It's definitely a very universal game.
Okay.
There are certain you really won't find specific elements of any culture. Like, they're all in there. But it's one of those where it's so much better than the original. They improved so much upon it, and it looks like, even to this day, it looks really good. And I recently picked up the 2.5 HD remix.
Uh-huh.
And, like, the stuff that they've, like, the little things they've done, like, some character palette swapping. So, like, some of the enemies you fight are different colors. And it's refreshing, and it looks really good. But it's my favorite story ever. There are no characters that I don't care about.
That's good. I mean, you have to care about characters, right?
Yeah,
You do.
In a good RPG and story, you grow to care
Absolutely.
about these characters, and then, stuff happens, and then
things happen.
you
and
get too invested in it, and then the game ends, and you're like, why?
And then it murders you and
Yeah.
makes you play through it again and go, no, but this is going to
Yeah.
happen and it's going to end again and
It makes you play through it again 19 years later, and you still feel the same, like, fucking gut-wrenching. Yeah.
along those lines. Definitely a thing to happen.
But it's great.
I mean, I didn't really play through the Kingdom Hearts series. I watched some of it, just for whatever reason I never did. Not to say it's bad or anything. I mean, if somebody holds a gun to my head and said, "Play Kingdom Hearts 2," I'll be like, "Okay, cool," and I would do it.
You would definitely have to play both. There is no getting around the stuff that happens before.
Yeah, I remember seeing my roommate play through most of the first one and then got into the second one, and even just by missing several parts of Kingdom Hearts 1, I was like, dude, I have no idea what's going on. Who is this new dude? I don't know what. Just what. And we kind of went from there.
And you can't appreciate how much better the gameplay is as for, like, the combat and the movement. You can't appreciate how much better it is than the original.
I see. I don't know. Maybe one day I'll just sit through and go through it all. We'll see.
An aside, Doom, and I fucking knew this, but I didn't want to be wrong and say it earlier. The first two Dooms were made by id Software.
id.
Yeah.
So I was gonna say id, but I didn't want to.
Yeah,
sound
neither
like
did
else?
I. That's the only reason I didn't say it.
What else did id do?
Stuff.
Stuff. I don't.
Yeah, they sound familiar.
Probably from the opening splash screen for Doom.
Yeah,
But I'll look up what else they've done.
that would make sense.
Yeah, give me just a sec.
Okay. Well, you can do that while I talk
yeah.
about mine. I mean, mine is between a lot of things, but... Well, it's not really even between. I just enjoy the hell out of most RPGs that I've played. I mean, there are some that suck, but definitely the one that trumps it all as a series has to be the Mass Effect series for me. Like, I've played...
Really?
Yes. Like, I've had to... I've played through it so many times, and I created so many different characters to work through it with so many different play styles, and a lot of people argued that there just was, well, like, I've heard both sides of it. Like, it's too cinematic. It's not cinematic enough. There's not enough to do here. And
I literally cannot comprehend how somebody could say that Mass Effect is not cinematic enough.
I don't either.
That
I
is
didn't understand
one
it.
of the epitomes of cinematic gaming.
Yeah.
It really is. Like, that's and I enjoyed it for that, but I also loved, well, I wasn't a huge fan of the way that the second one played out, and we've talked about that in the past. But but I do like all of the games differently. Like, Mass Effect 1 was the closest thing to a true RPG that I have played. And BioWare generally kind of does their stuff the same throughout their games that they do. Like, if you've played Knights of the Old Republic, you understand how the playstyle for Mass Effect 1 is going to work. You understand how Dragon Age Origins is going to work. And they all kind of play the same, and they all sort of progress the same, too. Sometimes good, sometimes not. But getting my start with Mass Effect 1, it was slow, but just because there's a lot of shit that happens in the story that keeps me so hooked and so invested, and that's why I was able to go through all of those 3 games multiple times, even when I knew stuff was happening. And every time I did, like, you can choose different things of how you're going through the story and how you want it to play out. And I always purposefully did it differently so I can see new things that I hadn't seen before. And every time I go through the series, there is something huge that I haven't seen before, and which makes the entire playthrough worthwhile. And that is why Mass Effect is my favorite RPG. Thank you for my book report. I hope I got an A.
Reaching back a little bit, id Software is the team behind Wolfenstein, Doom, and Quake.
Yeah. So
those are their 3 big franchises.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
But yeah, I mean, I've played a little bit more Mass Effect since the last time we talked about it, and I have to say it is a very good game.
I'm very glad you think so.
Which one are you playing?
Second one.
Oh, okay. Oh no!
Did you play through the first one?
No.
Go back and do the first one.
2 is the worst as far as gameplay.
Well, I mean, I like it so far, so
Well,
obviously that's the worst.
That's definitely good. You know what? Maybe that's a great place to start. Maybe do the second one, and then go to the other ones, and you can see, like, I mean, I hope you like them better, but it depends. Like, if I had started out with 2
4, 5, 2, 3, 6.
and then did exactly, shut up. And if I started out with 2 and then played the other ones subsequently, I probably would have enjoyed it more than I do now, just because.
Yeah, I think playing the second one first actually will probably give you a greater appreciation for the first and then third.
Yeah,
that'll be cool.
So yeah, try and go through that. Let me know what you think, and we'll talk about it for 700 hours.
Oh boy.
So yeah, one of the elements I wanted to talk about was like character creation and class, which I mean it's not an essential element. A lot of RPGs don't have them if they're making a different style RPG.
New Vegas.
Yeah, but I don't know. I always loved a good character creation system because I love to really get immersed in the person that I am creating.
And that's another thing that Dungeons and Dragons really like set the standard for too, I think.
Which is why I really need to get into Dungeons and Dragons because my
I've
buddy.
only done a couple games myself, but it's really fun.
I'll play it. I will do some tabletop D&D with you. That would be fantastic. I know some people who would too.
Dude, yeah, me too. So let's try and do
I
that.
died both times. Horrible, horrible deaths.
When you go into facial creation, do you always set out to make your own face?
Not my own. I don't do that. Sometimes I will, but sometimes I just like to make very pretty people.
I used to when I was like 14, and now I try to make I either if it's male, I try to just make a fucking
Badass.
like war torn, fucking he's seen some shit dude. And if it's a chick, I try to make her look attractive and badass simultaneously.
Way
like
to
she could attractively
objectify
kick
women, Plox.
Yeah, way to.
Well, what's your
women-
default?
women are
Is your
powerful.
default male or women?
I don't know. It kind of varies on the game and what is available. Especially like what species are available. I really like in the Elder Scrolls series. I really like making female dark elves.
Ugh.
Shut up.
Dark elves are my shit.
No, Dark Elves.
And that
they're
that
douchebags.
goes so far back beyond
the
before
High Elves are
the,
the
Elder
douchebags.
Scrolls for me. That goes all the way back to like Baldur's Gate and like some
Okay.
classic D&D
I can forgive you then.
And so usually like games like that, I'll default to a female dark elf or something similar. God, I haven't played very many games with character creations in a long time.
Can I just say that in regards to like making pretty girl characters, I always like the battle scarred, worn, whatever girls. I thought they were attractive.
I do that. I do that too. Definitely. Like I'm.
Like
I'm
if a
with you
girl
there.
has a big scar on her face and like part of her hair has been scorched, I'm like, I want that.
Yeah,
I want to
I
put
want-
everything in
I
that.
want that in every orifice of my body.
And I
Basically.
totally appreciate that. I personally really just like the I kick a lot of ass and I look good doing it kind of idea, you know?
Give me that short hair.
Give me that short hair. I like it. I was talking to a friend of mine. I asked him the same exact question, and his response was, "Oh, I'm always a girl, dude." I'm like, "Oh, okay, that's cool. Why do you do that?" And he just pauses for a bit. He's like, well, if I'm going to be looking at an ass the entire game, might as well be one I feel good about being attracted to.
And y'all are ragging on
Well,
me
that's-
about
that's such a
20
objectifying
dumb
years of
It was a dumb thing, but it was funny to hear. I laughed.
it
I
makes
laughed a little bit.
such a strange amount of sense.
When I play a character, I play a lot of female characters in games, except for Fallout for some reason. But my reasoning for it is, I've spent 21 years almost as a male. It's interesting to see it the other way around.
It can be like that.
But it doesn't really make that much of a difference.
It does, actually. In Dungeons and Dragons, it can. Very
How
much
so?
so.
I mean,
Go
that,
on.
yeah, but
It was just the way NPCs react.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Oh, okay. You
It's
know
very
what? I
true.
didn't even take
It completely changes that dynamic of conversation when you're a
Yeah,
female.
like how does the world
Well, at least with the
react
DMs
to
I
you
had.
because you're a female?
Well, also depending on if like you're gonna be the tomboy, full set of body armor girl, if you're gonna be the pretty dancer lady. It can
Every
be
time
different.
I played a female in any sort of like you can choose how you react sort of things, I was always a hardcore bitch. Like I was as much of a bitch as I could possibly be. Like when I was playing through Mass Effect, I did femshep, and
Oh my God.
every fucking response was like, "Pfft, fuck off, shit. I loved it.
You have to. It's
yeah, that's almost the exact opposite of me. I'm always the Iron Paragon of good, always.
I ended up being that in New Vegas on my first playthrough on accident.
on
I accidentally helped. Yeah, I accidentally helped
I'm
people
accidentally virtuous. Oh no.
because I would kill the people who were attacking me, and everyone was like, "Man, thanks," and I'm like, "You're welcome."
Thanks for murder. I appreciate you murdering that other person.
Well, Caesar's Legion was a bunch of assholes who had like slaves and shit, and I'm like, "Well, no." I'm gonna
Don't
kill
do
you.
that.
No, bam.
And then NCR's like, "Hey, buddy, thanks. You want to be our friend?" And I'm like, "Okay."
Okie dokie. Yeah, well, I mean, even on the subject of like you have different. Sometimes some games you'll have skills, which is like in seduce or entice or whatever, and yeah, gender will play an effect on that too. So, but I mean, that's not necessarily a reason to choose one or the other. I mean, it's just little skills. But yeah, even so, like I kind of have the Miyazaki thing. Like I'm all about strong female protagonists for whatever reason. I couldn't exactly tell you why, but that's just what I do.
Tell me
So.
why ain't nothing but
Shut up. Okay.
Shh, please don't.
So what? I mean, I love talking about things like this. I wanted to know, like, whenever you have a class to choose, what do you choose and why?
Ranger.
nerd.
And why?
Ranger.
And
Ranger,
why?
because Ranger.
And
Ranger in every subdivision. Sniper. Long range shoot man. Because
Yes,
nothing's
and.
better than being able to clear out an entire area of bad guys before you even step foot in there.
Before they even know you're there.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
It's the best. Especially if you can level up your sneak and whatever and make yourself a rogue.
Rogue?
Make yourself a rogue
Rogue.
as well.
Rogue.
If you can kind of balance.
Rogue.
Because obviously rogue itself is a class of its
Rogue.
own.
Rogue.
I bet
But
you
I like
left
to be
your
a ranger that
game
has
on
a lot of-
overnight, walking
have-
backwards behind the blind man in Skyrim.
What?
What?
But I
Well,
like
y'all-
playing that kind of
You
class.
didn't use that exploit?
I knew about it.
Wait, I'm sorry. Wait, which X? Hold on.
There's a blind guy sitting in a cave that you can walk behind.
Oh my God! I
yeah.
remember that. That thing's like pretty much on your way to Whiterun, right? I,
yeah.
It's a
in the
bit
bandit cave.
adjacent.
a little bit adjacent, but like that cave that's sort of built into that hillside, and there's a blind
Yeah,
guy
I
right
think it's
there.
like White Watch Cave.
Something like that. Yeah, and then there's like the bandit captain or whatever. You have to climb up and then go outside, and he's there, kind of cliffside.
Yeah,
Yeah, I remember that, and that's how you level up your sneak.
yeah, because there's that old blind man. You could just walk behind him, and you would do that overnight, and you'd be 100 when you woke up.
Goddamn, that's crazy. Ruben, what kind of class do you choose to be?
So it varies, again, depending on the sort of game that I'm playing. But I oftentimes tend to lean towards anything that has a high level of speed, with some interesting sort of abilities. I tend to go like thief, rogue sort of stuff, but I do also enjoy magic and being able to utilize magic. So I like to kind of mix and match those sorts of ideas. Like
Can you play as? Well, are you well versed in the support class?
in a lot of games, yeah, actually. As a matter of fact, I know we were speaking of Knights of the Old Republic, but I've played the Old Republic a bunch, and I actually played as I forgot what they're called, but on Sith side, Sith Inquisitor, which is like it's a healing class, support class sort of thing, DPS and healing and the such, and buffs and protects and stuff like that. And on multiplayer, like I was more successful with that than I was any other class I tried, and I really enjoyed it. It was really, really fun. Like I don't know, I enjoy that sort of thing. But like since they were Sith, like you also had some like I said, it was healing and DPS, which was a great combination. I really liked that, and I kind of lean towards those sorts of things. I guess I kind of like being able to do anything, so I don't tend to focus too hard on one sort of aspect, one sort of class. But I definitely have to have speed. I'm not going to ever take brute strength over speed.
Makes sense.
Yeah, brute strength has always been the thing I shy away from.
What about you, Darren?
I'm actually the brute strength warrior.
Good.
Sweet,
we would
we
pair.
need one of those in
Yeah,
our party.
We would pair very well together.
I would be like maybe average speed, but I would be a tough son of a bitch.
So you usually go for the warrior class. Yeah.
Typically, I'm very good at choosing other classes as well. Like with my when I started Kingdoms of Amalur, I chose to be a rogue, but then I found out being a rogue was useless.
That always
Pretty
pisses me off
much.
when like you get this new game or whatever, and it has this class that you know like you always sort of lean towards like your rogue class and stuff, and then it turns out that it's fucking shit in that game. Like that class is just
Yeah, it
shit.
is because you can't sneak up on any of the creatures, and creatures are almost all of what you fight.
That's annoying.
I was extremely disappointed.
So it depends on the game you're playing too. Like if they do a certain class well, yeah, you're gonna go with that. But yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Well, actually, not really. Like I chose to be a rogue just because I generally am the knight or warrior.
So you wanted to just do something differently.
Yeah. Like I will generally start out anything as a knight or warrior, and then I'll branch out.
Okay.
Later.
I like subdivisions of that. Like when you're combining classes. Like if they do it well, then some of those are pretty cool. I like doing that.
Yeah.
What I generally go for, well, like again, I generally kind of go for the rogue as well, but I'm trying to be a lot more well-versed in the sort of mage support class because nobody else knows how to do that correctly. They just want to go in and just kill everyone and just do a whole bunch of damage and just... like what I guess what most people are really accustomed to with gaming. But if you are a support class and you know how to do it, you understand that you're responsible for giving buffs to be sure your team is at full health and shielded and definitely good to go against whatever you're opposing. And nobody ever really knows how to do that. And so I figure, you know what, if I know how to do that, then I'll definitely be an asset to whatever team I'm going to be a part of. Because, I mean, I'm sort of... I don't need to be doing damage to feel like I'm having fun. Like, if I'm just doing party management and stuff, I'm all good with that, too. But if I'm going for that, then, yeah, I'm going to do rogue class. Like, pretty much, Stuart, what you do. Like, I love being an archer. I love being sneaky. I love doing cool shit and cool flashy shit.
Well, it's not so much cool shit. It's effective. Like, I'm less about the fancy kills and more about just straightforward kills.
Efficiency.
Yeah, I'm the cold.
You're Jin, not Mugen.
I mean,
because that's.
I mean, officially, I am about efficiency too, but I don't know. I do like flashy shit.
Again,
so.
It's another. Wow, I've been talking about Fallout a lot. I guess it makes sense, but Fallout is what made me focus on long-range weaponry because there are so many things in that game that if they get right up on you, you can just go ahead and quit the game and load up your last save. There are moments of that game where
I remember that.
Before combat even starts, you'll load the last save because you're like, yep, fuck this up.
And you're done. Pretty much. Yeah, I mean, I guess it also depends on the game, because some classes are shit. My favorite class system was in 2 Human, where you could choose...
Oh, God.
I'm going to stop right there. Don't do that. If you'd like to see where we went with that, what did we do? Was it a needless co-op?
Yeah.
Yeah, we did a needless co-op in 2 Human, and it was probably one of the worst things I've ever done in my life, ever. And
I'm sorry, but it's a terrible game.
It's
so bad.
It was so bad. It was so bad. If you wanted to see how we thought about it, just fast forward to the end of part 3, and you'll understand. So yeah, I mean, I think that's just about all we need to cover. Thank you guys for being a part of this. It's great to be doing podcasts because they're fun and good and informative.
I love any chance I can get to talk about Fallout.
Exactly. So
buy all the Fallout games.
Oh, God? Did you tell me to buy all the Fallout? Okay, well, I'm going to go buy all the Fallout games now.
Seriously,
So,
on Steam, all of them are available, every single one, except the Tactics ones, but ignore the Tactic ones because they're awful.
Okay. I can do that. Well, anyways, yeah, if you like what you're hearing, definitely give us a like and subscribe, and we're going to have some more content pretty soon for all of you guys, so be watching. Thank you very much for listening.
One last
my name is
thing.
Rick.
Oh, go ahead.
What?
No, go ahead, go ahead.
No,
I'll do
you're
it
good.
after we end. I'll do it after we do this.
Okay. I'm Rick.
I'm Ruben.
I'm Stuart.
And I'm Darren.
And patrolling the Mojave almost makes you wish for a nuclear winter.
Something like that. And just on something to sign off with, just remember that what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, except for bears. Bears will fucking kill you. Okay. Goodbye, Internet.